guys, welcome back to Lunatic Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Lori Lothian. So we're going to talk about all of the signs in this electrifying, power-charged new moon on November the 26th at 10 a.m. more or less Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to go through each of those signs to talk about where this electrifying power may be happening in your chart and how you can harness it and what it might be good for. And of course, like any new moon, it's going to be good for the month ahead. It's going to trigger something that's going to last the 28 days of the lunation cycle. So before I go ahead and do all signs and explain a little bit about the moon in general, I'm going to remind you this is a new channel for me and I'm really loving that you guys are making comments and liking. Please also subscribe and hit the little bell below that lets you know when I'm going to put something else up. I'm going to be posting about twice a week from now on. So one of the things I want to say, oh, and also check below. I've got links to my website in the description box and links to my sister's Blind Faith readings where she's selling her readings at half price right now, and she's an incredibly gifted, amazing tarot reader. Alrighty, so moving on. So to begin, one of the things that's really interesting about this, to me, about this particular new moon at 4 degrees of Sagittarius is that it is in a relationship to a very intense opposition between Mars and Uranus. And that is a tension. Opposition is tension. Mars is like, let's fire off some kind of like decisive power, some warrior action, some fierce combative, oomph, like chutzpah. And he's dignified because he's in Scorpio, so he's super powerful at this point. And it's opposite Uranus and Taurus, where Uranus has been for quite a while. I think March of 2019, he ingressed into the sign of Taurus. And he's now retrograde, but he's still pretty darn powerful. And Uranus brings sudden change, but also insight. And when he's retrograde, he's particularly fond of bringing internal awareness, insight, eurekas, and ahas, inwardly effective shifts of perception. So what is happening with this opposition between Mars and Uranus in your chart will tell you a little bit about where these insights and ahas could come from. The connection the moon has to this opposition is an inconjunct, or it's also called a quincunx, 150-degree angle between the new moon and Uranus, and a semi-sextile, or a 30-degree angle between Mars. And these are all happening at 4 degrees. So this is a really precise angular relationship between these signs. Now, from my experience, the inconjunct is a difficult aspect to deal with. In ancient astrology, it's called an aversion, and there's literally no contact or no real connection between things that are in aversion, my bra, and same thing with the semi-sextile. It's not considered a real aspectual relationship. However, I have a theory about that that's going into a book of mine that I'm writing called Chiron, the Key to Your Superpowers. And I'm not going to express what I think it really is about now. But I want you to be aware that even though there is a relationship between this moon and this existing tension between Uranus and Mars, which can, by the way, trigger catalysms and earthquakes and global environmental stuff as well. And Mars and Uranus will do that opposition at least once every 2 years, is that this is going to be an inward upheaval, an inward revelation, an inward cataclysm for you. And that inconjunct means that you may not welcome it. You might be a little bit like, oh, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Like, I really don't want to know about what's going on inside myself. I really don't want this Uranian, awareness to dawn on me. Do I really have to look at it? Do I really have to know it? Do I really have to, have that awareness? So because the inconjunct is a tension of a kind of like two people who don't really speak the same language trying to communicate with each other. And sometimes, you ever been in that situation where you're literally with somebody who's talking another language and you just really want to not try, like you know a little bit of French but not enough, so you just want to give up and walk away. I kind of think inconjuncts are like that. But there's a treasure to be had from sticking with the intention to understand what Uranus wishes to gift you with through the turbocharged, powerful, electrifying current as well that a dignified Mars is offering. So it could be quite a kaboom of an insight that could lead to action, Mars, in your life. Decisions, Mars, in your life. Decisions to separate, cut away, or sever as well, Mars, in your life. So let's go ahead and do all the signs, all right? So let's begin. Okay, Aries always gets to go first. Oh my goodness. So for all of you Aries out there, this new moon is happening in your 9th house of God, of soul, of wisdom, of foreign lands, of education. If there's anything going on in your life over the next 28 days from the November 26th new moon to do with any of those themes, they will be linked, okay, in this inconjunct to the Uranus power in Taurus at 4 degrees, that retrograde Uranus, and it will give you some sort of insight that you can then take action on by virtue of the Mars opposition. So pay attention to your insights and your dreams and your goals, and the way that this will be delivered to you, potentially by Uranus, is through the 2nd house. Because right now for you, Aries, Uranus is beginning a journey of 7 or so years that started in March of 2019 through your house of earned income. So what about a bolt of insight about a new way to make money? Okay, that sounds good, right? A new way to create revenue and resources in your life. Maybe a bolt of insight about your self-worth. Because literally your resources and revenue and income that you derive and possessions from the 2nd house are also connected to your values and how you value yourself. So pay attention to insights that could enhance your money. When Uranus goes direct on the 10th of January as well, any insights you glean during this new moon and the month that follow could actually have actionable steps when Uranus moves out of the reverie of retrograde and into direct motion after January 10th. Okay, so pay attention to that. Taurus, your turn, and you guys are having this moon itself happening, this new moon happening in your 8th house. Now, the 8th house is a house of occult mystery. It's deep. It's, deep sexual intimacy. It can be shamanism and magic. It's also a house of wealth. It's also one of the money houses, particularly your spouse's money, money from business endeavors or investments, inheritances, anything like stipends and royalties, tax rebates. It's money that you don't, it's other people's money, whether it's institutional money or, inheritance money, but it's not money you're kind of getting in your daily grind. It's not your paycheck per se. So I would like you guys to really think about this new moon uncovering resources that are about wealth in a new way for you, as this new moon is awakening 8th house energies. Now the 8th house is now connected to Uranus through that inconjunct and Mars through that sextile. So that Uranian insight that could kaboom and bolt you and jolt you into something really exciting, awareness and newness, is in your 1st house of your identity. Now, what are you going to know, see, discover, or realize about yourself in the next 28 to 30 days from the new moon on the 26th? Pay attention. The 1st house is your physical body as well. So anything that you might have happen physically to your body or a new insight about how to care for your body. Uranus is going through your 1st house, all right, for like another 7 years, and it started its journey, or 6 years, in March of 2019. So there's a lot of re-identification, renovation, electrifying change in not only how you appear, you may change your hair, your physical appearance, what you wear over the next few years, but also how you see yourself, how you identify yourself. So pay attention to that in the new moon and look for action steps, Mars, to evolve in your storyline after Uranus goes direct on January 10th from any insights you glean in the area of identity and self-discovery. All right? All right, Taurus, that's the end of that for you. All right, Gemini. Geminis, you guys are having another spiritual activation because this is, well, let me start off with the 7th house. Sorry, jumping ahead to Uranus. So the new moon's in your 7th house of business partnerships and marriage, long-term committed partnerships of any kind. It's also the 7th house, a place where it's the public. So if you're in like a business where you want to promote your stuff, if you want to put something into the public sphere, you want to get publicly recognized or something, that's kind of that zone as well. And the 7th house is also, to some degree, if you're a coach or a mentor or a psychologist, it's the house of your clients, right? It's where it's the clients that you have. So for that category where the new moon is sitting, for all of you Geminis, those themes are relevant in the 28 days ahead. And the Uranus tension point with the inconjunct is in your 12th house of liberation, enlightenment, soul, karma, past lives. It's the 12th house. Ashrams, spiritual retreats, mountaintops and caves. What are you guys going to be doing in the next 28 days as this new moon potentially gives you the chance to receive a Uranian insight, awareness, or eureka regarding the themes of your spirituality? I mean, if you were ever going to have a past life regression, this would certainly be the time. But don't forget, this is still related to the house of partnership and business. So if you're currently partnered up, say in a marriage partnership, maybe you'll have an insight about that partnership coming out of the 12th house. The 12th house is your dreams at night as well, so pay attention to those. Maybe you'll have a riveting and pivotal, life-changing insight in a dream. And remember, because this is an inconjunct, there's going to be tension of not really wanting to hear it or not really wanting to connect with it or feeling unsure about it. But pay attention. There's probably something very valuable, Geminis, coming to you in your dreams at night or in your reveries or in a meditation, etc. Cancer. You guys are having the moon itself in your natal 6th house of work, like your daily job, your place of employment, or if you're an employer where your employees live. The 6th house of your health and routines to care for your body, exercise and food, etc. So for you Cancers, this is really going to be all about this moon, maybe really more deeply getting down with that part of the chart, your body, your work, your daily livelihood, etc., your place of work, your workspace itself. And Uranus, right, is activating through its inconjunct energy insights that can come from the 11th house zone. Now, the 11th house in your chart is the house of your friends and your extended social networks, your tribe, your colleagues at work. If you have a workplace where you'd have colleagues, it's a house that you can also be connected to, like larger than you groups, when you join a society or a membership in something, when you join the, the Astrology Association, that's very 11th house. So those sorts of affiliations. Okay, so usually you get benefits there. It's the benefits or benefactors in those areas. So perhaps regarding your health or regarding your work, you're going to have something come through an insight through a friend or a colleague or a coworker or a tribe member, so to speak, that's going to give you pause. You might not want to hear it. You might be like, I'm not too sure. I really get down with that. I don't really want to know. I don't speak that language. But pay attention, because my sense is whatever it is you're going to get coming out of a friend's mouth, for instance, or a comment by a friend or a colleague could be really important for you in your 6th house of work. And I like to look at the 6th house as right livelihood, not just your job that you do during the day. Ideally, we get out of the slavery and servitude mode of the 6th house and into a devotional path of service, in that what we're doing feels like it's a gift to ourselves and a gift to the world. So something could come through to break through there and give you insight into those possible things. I'm recording it in the late day here in a friend's house. I'm going to lose the light soon, so I'm trying to talk before the sun sets completely. So if I'm a little fast today, sorry guys. All right, Leo, you're having the exceptional energy of this electrifying current of Uranus's insights in the 10th house. That's where Uranus is sitting. And your moon itself, this new moon, is in your natal 5th house of creative expression and creativity, your children, pregnancy, childbirth, your love life, and love affairs. So, and luck. So this new moon could trigger some luck for you in your 5th house, lucky breaks, etc., just as a standard operating principle. It could be a very lucky 28 days that follows this November 26th moon. However, also look at the fact that your career axis part of the house is being given some sort of potential insight or breakthrough awareness through Uranus's position there. Now, Uranus, of course, has been there since 2019 March, and is going to be there for 7 years, marching through and changing and revolutionizing, Leo, your career. But it's this action from the moon that means it's in this 28 days ahead, even more ripe and potent and purposeful. And there's going to be action steps you can take from whatever insight you get through Uranus in your career house. And those action steps with Mars, right, the Mars opposition to Uranus, could likely show up more effectively as the insight you have now being action you take when Uranus goes direct in January, on January 10th. All right, Leos, career insights, career awareness, career shifts of perspective, maybe not always welcome, maybe uncertain if you should pay attention, but trust it. I do think that this inconjunct will deliver a meaningful insight for you. Virgo, this is going to be the moon in your 4th house of home. The new moon is in your home life, where you live, maybe your town as well. It's also your ancestral line. It's also the house of father. This is your 4th house, Virgo. And the breakthrough of Uranian energy is in the 9th house of your chart. Now, this is the house of education, like universities and colleges, higher education, wisdom and knowledge, philosophical discourse. It is the house, too, that rules foreign lands and foreign travel. So possibly during the next 28 days, you might be invited to or have an idea or an instinct or an aha about a place you want to visit that's in a foreign or exotic place. Go for it, you know, trust it. But remembering that the action steps are more likely to occur when Uranus goes direct on the 10th of January. Like for all of you Virgos, Uranus is going through your 9th house for a long time, right? It entered into or ingressed into your 9th house in March of 19 and will be there for 7 years. So it's really trying to revolutionize a whole area of your life, foreign lands, foreign travel, education, etc. It's going to try to turn it around in a direction, electrify it and change it in a direction that's truly more on point for who you really are. So like, you know, for those of you who are in educational settings and go to university or college, if Uranus ingressed into your 9th house after you started a course of study or a certain major or a direction, you probably changed it, didn't you? You probably made a change after March of 2019. So expect that sense of instability to continue. But in particular, pay attention in the 28 days ahead to insights regarding your education or your travel, and 9th house features. Advisors, guides, and mentors are also very 9th house. So if you have one in your life, like a counselor, guide, advisor, mentor, they may seed you with a new insight or awareness this month, and pay attention to it. You may not like it. Inconjuncts are uneasy aspects, but it's probably important. Action steps after January 10th. Okay. Libra, this is going to be for you guys a 3rd house new moon. And it's going to activate an 8th house awareness or Eureka. So let's go into the details. So the 3rd house of your chart is your siblings. It is your neighborhood. It is some of the buds you might hang around with on a daily basis, your local friends. Your 3rd house is your writing, communicating, speaking house. Education when it's short term, like seminars, workshops, etc. So for you Libras, and there's a good possibility here that you also, given that it's a house of siblings, I just really am focused on the siblings for some reason, might pay attention to what your siblings have to say to you that you may not want to hear, because we have that Uranian influence in the house of secrets and taboos, the 8th house. Uranus is there. Is a sibling or a family, sibling going to deliver a secret or a taboo bit of information that you're not too keen to receive? Oh dear. Now, the 8th house is also money and wealth, so possibly occult mysteries and magic. And, you know, Uranus is doing a long trip, Libra, through your 8th house. You know, tour of duty started in March of 2019 and we'll be there for 7 years after that. So you're going to be reinvestigating a lot of stuff to do with the way you can create wealth through other people's money, whether it's investments or business relationships. So pay attention to any insights you may have about how resources that aren't your daily paycheck may be able to be used by you to create greater stability and prosperity in your wealth sector. And that insight may come to you during the 28 days after this moon. Like, oh, I should buy Bitcoin. So then if that happens, probably take action, Mars, after the Uranus goes direct on January the 12th. Alrighty. Scorpio. I love Scorpios. You guys are so mysterious. Scorpio, you're having this moon in your 2nd house of earned income. Uranus is electrifying your 7th house of business partnerships and relationships and contracts and legal agreements, by the way. And it's possible that you may be offered a new job, or you may think about a new job or come up with a new idea for a new work habit or a new livelihood path, because that moon in your house of earned income, possessions, resources, and self-worth may, with its connection to the 7th house Uranus, enliven, reinvent something to do with the way you make money. You may have an idea or you may hear about something, but I think with the Uranian influence in the 7th house, you may pay attention as well to your long-term committed relationships, like a marriage or a live-in relationship, and something that may come to you as an idea or an insight about the relationship by virtue of the connection to Uranus and that moon. I'm also definitely feeling there's a definite aha on the way regarding a new way to make money. In business partnerships, perhaps, with others. Sagittarius, it's your turn, and it's going to all be, for you guys, happening in the moon in your 1st house and Uranus in your 6th. What is that about? So the moon in the 1st house is the house of identity. So you're definitely looking at the who am I question. You know, what's really going on? Who am I really? What do I want to do when I grow up? Who do I want to be? Can I be who I really am? You know, big identity questions going on with this moon, and you're really going to have to dig deep here and really investigate, and you're going to have a new beginning in your identity in some way over the next 28 days. Now, the trigger point here, the Uranian influence at the end of that inconjunct, is in your 6th house of health habits and livelihood, like the place you go to work, the job you do daily. If you're thinking of changing your job, this is probably where you'll have an insight in the next 28 days about where to go, what to do, what kind of job change to make, all right? And if you are into health issues and wanting to like work out more, eat better, you may have an insight about a new path for your health as well during this time. And it could be a really good breakthrough insight too. And you know, we just think about things normally. I'll just go to the workout club and do my normal thing. But Uranus is inventive, so maybe unusual, inventive, and crazy ass stuff. You know, Uranus is like Chi and Shakti and Kundalini. You may actually do that. You might go see an energy healer in the next 28 days and have a profound impact on you. Okay, rounding us up here, we're doing Capricorn. I'm Liz in the light. It's turning dark in this recording studio. It's sunset. So I'm trying to get through it before I'm in a dark room talking to you guys. Yeah, so Capricorn. You guys are having the new moon in your 12th house, of spiritual truth, you know, wisdom, like enlightenment, moksha, liberation, past lives and karma, hidden enemies, and also, you know, to some extent, just the depth of your spirituality. And so for you Capricorns, it's going to be a very soulful 28 days. And with the 5th house Uranus, creative. Your creative expression could be very heightened. Pay attention to your dreams, because we get dreams out of the 12th house that are profound. They give us insights into the nature of reality or stuff that's great for serving the whole of humanity. So you Capricorns could go very deep into this well of reservoir, spiritual wisdom and knowledge from other lives that you have in your 12th house with this moon. And Uranus electrifying your 5th house. Now, Uranus is going through your 5th house, Capricorn, for a lot of time, right? Started going through your 5th house in March of 2019. Will be there for 7 years. So it's an ongoing influence. But it could mean in this 28 days ahead that something going on with your children, or something going on with getting pregnant or having childbirth, or even just sex, is relevant to this Uranian bolt of energy. But again, Uranus is interior now. He's retrograde. So it would be not an action of change, but an insight or an understanding that could later, when Uranus goes direct in January on the 12th, be put into action steps with the help of Mars, all right? That Mars opposition that happens during the moon. All right, Aquarius, you guys are going to have the 11th house, the situated point of this new moon, friends, benefactors, wealth that you can gain from your 10th house of career, recognition, alliances and tribes. It's a house of good spirit. So it's a good place to have a moon. It's going to be a good 28 days that unfolds from the November 26th moon. The energy of Uranus is in your 4th house of home. This is where you live. It's also your father and your ancestors, and it's also maybe your town or community. You may have an insight that happens to happen while you're at home, or that happens to be about your home. The territory, the land that you're living on, the house that you or apartment that you live in. This is interior, so this is not Uranus jolting you into some kind of change. And you know, for all of you Aquariuses, and I'm an Aquarius rising, this is definitely relevant. I mean, I moved from Vancouver to Montreal just as Uranus went into my 4th house. So Uranus in the 4th house means change of home. But this is an interior change. A change of perspective. If you live somewhere and you love it, That's great, but this is an inconjunct, so you might be getting a message about having to move, or maybe you should be moving or finding a new home. And yet, you may not want to hear that message, so pay attention to that potential message you don't really want to hear. Oh my God, I hope not. I just moved. I don't want to move. All right, finally, Pisces. You guys are having this in your 10th and 3rd house. The moon itself is in your 10th house of career. So we're going to have expansion of new beginnings in your career over the 28 days that follow this 26th of November new moon. And then you have that Uranian energy coming out of the 3rd house of divination and oracleship and prophecy to some degree. I speak, I write, I teach, communicate, short-term education, seminars and workshops, and your siblings. That's a lot to cover. Uranus could deliver a breakthrough insight via a sibling or through a workshop or seminar that you take that you will put into action sometime after January the 12th when Uranus goes direct. But do know that with this new moon in your house of career, this is a really great month, no matter what, to apply those insights that you have through those 3rd house vehicles to your career. You're going to get a gift here, and don't look a gift horse in the mouth. That inconjunct, again, it's like a little bit like peripheral vision, that aversion. You may not want to hear it, but it will be a good message. It will be an insight from Uranus that you can take good action on in the new year and do something with it to power up that career. Alrighty? All right, thanks guys for listening. A reminder for those of you who made it this far and maybe listened to every sign, like, subscribe, comment. It's a new channel. The algorithm loves it. It really helps me. And then, this top is driving me nuts. And then down below, my sister Cindy Lee has tarot readings, blindfaithreadings.com, half price sale till December 1st. Don't miss it. $75 for an hour. She pre-records it and sends it to you, the grand tableau. It's an amazing process. I can't say enough about it, and her clients love her. And you know, you can always find me at Lunatic Astrology, where I do all kinds of readings, and the link to my website is there. And I'm going to be having a sale coming up soon, so pay attention to my Black Friday special. But in the meantime, thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you guys in probably about 3 days when I'm going to post again. Mwah.